The psychology of procrastination and how to overcome it. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Life Talks Unfiltered. I'm 70 Words, and today we're diving into a topic that I'm sure most of us can relate to: procrastination. You know that feeling when you have something important to do, but you find yourself scrolling through social media, reorganizing your desk, or binge watching your favorite show instead? Yep, we've all been there. Procrastination isn't just a time management issue. It's often tied to deeper psychological factors. In this episode, we'll explore why we procrastinate, what's really going on in our brains, and most importantly, practical strategies to break the cycle and get things done. Whether you're a student, a professional, or just trying to tackle your personal goals, this one's for you. Let's get started. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is procrastination? Procrastination is the act of delaying or putting off tasks, even when you know it's not in your best interest. It's not about being lazy. It's about avoiding something that feels overwhelming, uncomfortable, or boring. So why do we procrastinate? It often boils down to three main reasons. Fear of failure. We avoid tasks because we're afraid we won't do them well. It's easier to delay than to risk making mistakes. Perfectionism. Sometimes we procrastinate because we want everything to be perfect. If we're not confident we can meet those high standards, we put it off. Immediate gratification. Let's be honest. Scrolling TikTok or watching Netflix is more fun than tackling a challenging project. Our brains are wired to seek instant rewards, even if it means ignoring long-term benefits. Understanding why you procrastinate is the first step to overcoming it. Once you know the root cause, you can address it head-on. Now, let's dig a little deeper into the psychology behind procrastination. Procrastination is often linked to something called task aversion. When we view a task as difficult, boring, or emotionally draining, our brain tries to avoid it. Instead, we focus on activities that feel easier or more enjoyable in the moment. Another key factor is the present bias. This is the tendency to prioritize immediate pleasure over future rewards. For example, relaxing now feels better than studying for an exam, even though studying will benefit you in the long run. Finally, procrastination can also be tied to emotional regulation. Sometimes we delay tasks because we're trying to avoid uncomfortable emotions like anxiety, frustration, or self-doubt. The problem is, procrastination often makes those emotions worse in the long run, creating a vicious cycle. All right, so how do we break the cycle of procrastination? Here are some practical strategies you can start using today. Break tasks into smaller steps. Big tasks can feel overwhelming, so break them down into smaller, more manageable steps. Instead of thinking, I have to write a 10-page paper, start with, I'll write the introduction. Small wins build momentum. Use the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it right away. This could be replying to an email, tidying your workspace, or jotting down a quick note. This rule helps you build the habit of taking immediate action. Set deadlines, even for yourself. If there's no external deadline, create one for yourself. Adding a sense of urgency can help you stay focused and motivated. Bonus tip: share your deadline with a friend or colleague for accountability. Reward yourself. Pair the task with something you enjoy. For example, tell yourself, once I finish this report, I'll watch an episode of my favorite show. Rewards make tasks feel less daunting and more satisfying. Practice self-compassion. Instead of beating yourself up for procrastinating, remind yourself that it's normal and you're not alone. Self-compassion reduces the guilt and shame that often fuel the procrastination cycle. Eliminate distractions. Identify what pulls your attention away, whether it's your phone, social media, or notifications, and create an environment that minimizes those distractions. For example, use apps that block distracting websites while you work. Use the 5-second rule. When you feel the urge to procrastinate, count down from 5 and immediately take action. This interrupts your brain's default response to delay and pushes you to start. Let me share a quick story about overcoming procrastination. A friend of mine used to struggle with procrastinating on exercise. She knew it was good for her, but she'd always find excuses. I'm too tired, I'll start tomorrow, and so on. One day, she decided to apply the 2-minute rule. Instead of telling herself she had to work out for an hour, she committed to just putting on her workout clothes and doing 2 minutes of stretching. Once she started, she often found it easier to keep going. Over time, this small habit snowballed into a regular exercise routine. The lesson? Starting is often the hardest part, but once you do, it's much easier to keep going. As we wrap up, here's the key takeaway. Procrastination doesn't mean you're lazy or unmotivated. It's often a sign that you're overwhelmed, avoiding discomfort, or unsure where to start. The good news is, with the right strategies, you can break the cycle and take control of your time. So here's your challenge for the week. Pick one task you've been procrastinating on and apply one of the strategies we talked about today. Whether it's breaking it into smaller steps, setting a deadline, or eliminating distractions, just take that first step. Remember, progress is better than perfection. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Life Talks Unfiltered. If you found this helpful, share it with a friend who might need a little push to get started. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care and stay productive.